Welcome back. Um, we've been able to do a lot. We'll be finalizing soon, but now we just want to get more of checking things and also the classification we left. We want to also add that classification into it. What we're trying to do is that for every attendant, let's say the attendant has applied for one, if that gets to a point, it goes to the next and then to the next. Let's say you have three halls or three conference rooms and you want 100 to be in the first conference room, 200 to be in the second conference room, and then 5 to be in the second conference room. So the application is going to go that way till the end. Once it is over, then it is closed, then they can't apply on it again. So that's what we'll do. We'll do more of the checking. Most of these things we've done it previously, so I'll just be showing you what we're doing instead of to save our time. And yeah, okay, so we'll go straight. First, let's get from our front end here before we enter this. If we go up to this point where we have classification, you can see classification, we are entering it as one. We want to ensure that we know what the classification is, and also we're also able to count attendance. Okay, so we'll just after this, let's get our classification, checking classification and numbers of attendance. So first thing we'll do is that we're going to do this. We're going to get our attendance. We've done this before. So we've done this before on the other. So what we're doing here is that we're saying attendance will get the results. We sum the attendance as total attendance from table name. We already have our table name here. So if we go straight to the table name, you can see our table name is members registration. So we'll get from this and then use the form ID to locate it. So this will give us our attendance once we sum it. Attendant 1, attendant 2, attendant 3, and attendant 4. So we're getting that to say, okay, if the sum total of this is this, then we'll get for the next one for classification 1, for classification 2, for classification 3, for classification 4. And those classifications are all just telling you if it is auditorium, conference, or banquet hall. So that's what we'll have. We'll just duplicate this. We'll do more of it. And once we get the attendance, we just run through it and say, okay, let me just put this here. I'll be typing more again because we've explained this already. So here also we're getting attendance 1 to say, okay, get results sum attendance as total attendance from this table where ID is equal to this and classification is equal to 1. So we're taking for all classification that's 1, that's for auditorium, then all classification that is 2 for conference, and then all classification that is 3 for banquet. Then we can also get the whole attendance registration for that form, for that registration form that was created. So that's what we're doing here. Once we get that attendance, what do? We just have to do, okay, so we just have to do, let's say, total attendance. So once we just get attendance is equal to, so we're getting our attendance here taking the 0 of it, the index, indexing array index starts with 0, 1, and then so take total attendance. So now we get this total attendance. We get total attendance for 1, total attendance for 2, total attendance for 3. So let me just type that in. So and then when we start displaying, you get to understand what we're doing. So now what we are doing now is that we have the total attendance. We want to say total attendance left for auditorium is how many? How many left for conference and how many left for banquet? I will be doing that by taking the conference from what we have on conference and what we have in total 1, what we have in total 2, what we have in total 3. So like I said, this is for conference room. This is for we have sorry, the first one is auditorium, and then we have for conference room, and then we have the last one is for the banquet. So this is for 1, 2, 3. Now what we're doing here now, we're just getting the record as okay, this is total 1, total 2, total 3. We can always define it as banquet, which is fine. So we just need to do this, and we'll say total left in auditorium. Total left in auditorium is equal to auditorium E minus total attendance. That's one. Since we said 1 is for auditorium, 2 is conference, and then 3 is banquet. So we'll do that, and we'll also do the same thing for others, for conference and for we'll do for conference, and then we'll do for banquet, and this is it. Just process. So we have total left in conference is conference minus total attendance 2. Total attendance 2 is for conference. So we have a conference, auditorium, and then here banquet. Yeah. So we have this. So this one is also the same thing, and it's calling this. So this is the total that we have from after summing it. So we go into the database, we sum the attendance, all the attendance where the classification is equal to 1. We sum all of them, and we have it as 1, which is auditorium, and that's the total we have here. Also, we also go in and sum all the total from where it is this also. So we do all the total. After summing it, we'll now minus deduct this minus this. So we're getting all the record from, if you go up here, auditorium E, you can see it, auditorium E, we're getting, so once it gets the record from this auditorium E minus this, auditorium this minus this, auditorium this minus this. Now, when you're filling the form, it will tell you if your record, how many you want to be in auditorium, how many you want to be. So those are the records. So here might be 300 minus 20, 300 minus 5, 300 minus 2. So that's how you have it for all of them. If you come into the database, just to make you understand better, we have service setup. So you can see it. Auditorium is 150, conference is 50, banquet is 155. So here is what is picking and say, okay, 155 minus the total sum we have on on this attendant for classification of 1, which is banquet auditorium, to sum it and then deduct from it. Then that would give us what is left on the application. I hope you understand that. So with that, we just need to get now the classifications. Getting the classification set. So what do we need to do? We'll put everything under if statement. So it's if statement we use for everything, and we'll say here if not. So we're trying to check total attendance. So the overall total attendance is greater than or equal to auditorium E. So if this happens, what do we do? So we're trying to say if all the attendance that we get from this is greater than or equal to auditorium E. So let's say all the auditorium E is the full number, which is like 300 here. So if this is greater than or equal to 300, we just give a message telling the user that, oh, this is what happened when you've used this, and so we just say, okay, auditorium, if it is greater than or equal to auditorium. So if it is equal to, if it's not, so that's why we're using this. If it is not equal to this, the person is in auditorium session. If it is if it is not equal to auditorium plus this is equal to, the person will not be in conference. So you know that the session will be after one is filled up before you move to the next one. Then after that one is filled up, then you move to the next hall. So let's just go through it so you understand what I'm saying. So here we'll say you are in auditorium. S if it is not let me just take this. Let me just take this so that we don't really type too much. So if not, total attendance greater than or equal to auditorium E plus this. So it has to be plus the conference E. Conference, yeah. So now if this is 200, auditorium is 200, it's going to be 200 plus this. If the total is not greater than or equal to this, it tells you that you are in what? Conference. You are in conference. Then we'll do it again. Let's go with, that means after this S, you are straight up into banquet. Straight up, you are into banquet. That's what it means. Sorry. You are in banquet. Now, if you understand what we're doing here, it's quite easy. If you have auditorium is the sum of auditorium 300, if this is not more than this, then you are in auditorium. If it is more than, it comes here and it checks. If this is not more than auditorium plus this conference, then you're in conference. Else you are straight in banquet. So we just give the classification. Let's say, so we're giving classification. So we say classification progress is equal to 1. So same thing, once it is here, that was in conference, is going to be equal to 2. Once it is not that, is in banquet, is going to be equal to 3. This is going to be equal to 3. So what happens here is 1, 2, 3. So at that point where you're having the first, second, and the third, we can now get the total left and also the total remaining. So let's just do that. Let's just do that. Okay. So let's get the progress bar because we're using progress bar here. Progress bar. So we'll say let's use this. So we'll say P is a P tag style let's start it with width of 100%, margin so easy. Let's make it most important. So that important makes it override every other aspect. So the weight is bold and color is dark red. Let's use dark red. I think that's okay. Then we'll see data value. Data value. If you use progress bar before, you understand what it's doing here. If not, just go. Let's go with the flow. So we say is equal to total auditorium. So we want to get what's the total that have been used. So we'll say total auditorium. Let's pick it. Total auditorium. Yeah, so once we get that total auditorium, we close up, we close it, and then we say yeah, so yeah, auditorium, then close the p tag. So we close the p tag, we do close the p tag. Let's close this too. So inside of it, aside that, we still have something inside the progress bar, which is the percentage that will be going through, percentage that will be running on it. So I just say progress max equal to. So what's the maximum in it? So it will be auditorium E. So the total of auditorium E. So we're taking every, so how many, what's the max that should be there is 300. So we'll say 300 here. Just call it in 300 here. And the value should be how many percentage. So this is to just calculate the percentage. So calculate the percentage. So we can say total attendance 1. As for total attendance 1 is for auditorium, like we said. And very good. You cannot do class. These are just normal HTML. HTML5. Then we'll close this and put a closing tag of progress. So So when we have that inside here, not really important, but let's just add it div class equal to progress bar span style. So we have this, and we're styling it just the width of 80%, and you get to see more on this 80%. You get to see more on why we're doing all this. Okay. So this is just basically, it's not part, it's just progress bar aspect we're doing. Aside that, we're good. If you're not adding progress bar to yours, you don't really need this part. We're just trying to calculate and see what we have. So we'll take this to, we'll copy it, also add it to this. So what we're changing here now is instead of auditorium, we're taking conference. Let's take conference. Let's say total conference left. Yeah. So take conference. Total conference left. Then we have here will be conference E, and then enter that 2. I hope you understand that. Enter that 2 is for conference. The same thing we're going to do for this. So S. So once it's on banquet, so we're going to do the same thing for banquet, and we're saying banquet is going to be this, which is banquet left. Banquets, and once we do banquet, we now take here as what banquet, right? Following, fine. Then here is going to be 3. Yeah, you got it right. Going to be 3. And once we're done with that, we're good with our classification. Now, when we are doing when we have our points, the points where we need to enter, let's check here. We have a classification. Yeah, classification here. We're not going to, so it's going to tell you if it is 1, 2, or 3. If it's banquet, if it is conference, or if it is auditorium. So whichever one is going to tell you that. So we just pick our progress bar here, and then our classification progress, and hit it up here. So let it give us that. Yeah, so that's what we do. So whichever one it is, it will tell you what is inserting into. So as they continue to register, it will automatically be assigning it to the hall the person is in. And also, once they register, you can always send them a mail saying, okay, your registration is successful, you are in this hall, because you already know the classification of that user. You already know where he or she is. So we'll get to that point too. Let's put it this way. We've done the classification. Yeah. So we can save and then check on our page. Check on our page now. See, let's refresh. Let's spread, and let's look for a hidden form. Let's look for what we're looking for now is the class. You can see classification is what 1. So it is giving it 1, telling you that we are still in auditorium. So if we If we go to the database and make this, let's say the registration, member registration, the number of this one should be 300, 300 and 302. So now the attendants, they are now much more than the required attendant for this number 5, the service setup 5, which is auditorium is 150. So 300 is even too much. Let's make it for number 5. Okay, it's 300. You can see it. So it's going to tell you now that the ID for the classification is going to be 2, because after adding 200 plus what you have, you check it is greater than 300. The registration counts the attendance. So let's see if that works. Let's refresh. Let's see if that works. You can see, wow, the ID here is 2. You can see it here. It is 2, telling you that now we've had more number, which is more than 300 people that register. Then we are now in conference. We are now in the banquet or the conference here. So we can just test that slightly by saying, we can test that slightly now by just saying this. So let's see, lastly, let's just do this. Current hall, current hall. So this will be classification display. Let's see, classification display. Let's save it, and then let's go in here. Since we've done our if, so for auditorium, here is equal to 1, classification is equal to, this is equal to auditorium. Then where this is equal to, this is, this one here is 2. We have conference room. Then when it is more than that, we have banquets. So with this, if we go straight to this file to refresh, let's see, current hall is conference room. You can see it. Current hall is conference room. Current allocation. Current allocation conference room. So it tells you that you are now in conference. The allocation we are doing is conference room. So if we go back and make this registration, the number to be, let's say, 2, and let's see what comes up. It tells you that you are in what? Auditorium. Current allocation is auditorium. So it's telling you where you are as you are making the application. I hope you understand. So if it is more than 150 plus 300, that's 450. 450. Let's just check that. Let's go back to setup. 150 plus 500, that's 800. So if we have anything more than 800, it's going to be in banquet. Let's try that now. Under registration members, let's make this guy 800. 801. So 801. So let's see what's in the shows. Yeah, straight up, we are in banquet room. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to know which classification we are in, why the person is applying. So as you apply, it tells you what classification, and it uses that to implement. I hope this is quite clear, and we're going to have other sessions where we'll be treating the progress bar. So how the progress bar set and the likes. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. Was a long one, but it helps. Thank you.